So, as we prepare for our practice today, it's always nice to have our yoga props around and available. Even if we don't use them, it can be nice to have them on hand just as our resources so that should we find that we do want to have something, that we don't have to get up and walk in the other room to gather it. So, if you don't have a yoga bolster or yoga blocks, you can always use a stack of books or a couch cushion. So you might just collect some of those things for your practice today. And we will begin in any comfortable seat. So, whatever that looks like for you. For some, it might be sitting on a chair or on the couch. Although, with the couch, we want to make sure we're not leaning back into the seat. We want to be able to have an awake and aware alertness in our body as we come to the practice. Good. All right. And so as we land in our comfortable seat, you might start with just letting your hands rest on your legs or in your lap, whatever feels comfortable for you. And it may be that you place your hands palms facing down, or maybe today you're feeling like having your palms facing up. I'd invite you to take a moment to try both of those, just as a way to tune in to your own inner knowing, as well as to guide our attention into how things are feeling in our body today. So, with the palms facing up, I'm noticing that my fingers feel cold. And so, for that reason, my personal preference today is to have palms facing down. Now, there may be other energetics that you're noticing, perhaps palms facing down, help you to feel a little bit more grounded and rooted. Or maybe you're feeling like palms facing up is adding to the sunshine that might be coming in through your windows or this desire of growth towards spring. So know that whatever your reason is right for you in this moment. And then if it does feel comfortable, you could either take your gaze towards the floor in front of you, or you might close your eyes completely. And as we land in the present moment, let's utilize the power of the breath to assist us with just shedding the things that are outside of here and now. So we can do this with an exaggerated inhale and exhale. And so when you feel ready, begin to invite a nice deep inhale in through your nose. And then when you feel ready, you might open your mouth for this exhale and really let go. And then we'll do this 2 more times. So move at a pace that's right for you. Invite a deep inhale all the way in to the capacity that you're ready to hold at this moment in your day. And then again, releasing, if it's comfortable, maybe it is out through your mouth, maybe even with a sound. When you get to your third round, I'd invite you to perhaps even pause at the top of your inhale. So holding that fullness, really letting the breath expand all of the corners inside, opening, opening, opening. And then as you extend your exhale, really empty out. So exhale all the way to empty, empty, empty. See if you can empty even a little bit more. And then relax that control of the breath. Return to just a natural pace of your breath, inhaling and exhaling, and really awakening your witness consciousness. So observing, noticing any shift with just those 3 breaths. By taking the time to acknowledge the shifts from even just a small act, it does help to amplify our experience. And now let's join our palms together into Anjali Mudra, hands together in front of our hearts. As your palms meet, find the balance between each of your fingers, your left fingers and right fingers, the palms of your hands. And now beginning to find a balance top to bottom and bottom to top. So allowing for as much energy to be rooting down into the earth from your center as there is energy questing up through your spine, assisting you with that tall posture, a nice balanced action. And then notice front body and back body. If you feel more energy questing forward and up into your hands, into your heart, see about balancing that with the energy of the back of your waistline around your kidneys. So again, we're having this equanimity within ourselves. Now, while we stay in this mudra for a few more rounds of breath, again, really awakening to your witness consciousness, noticing, observing what is present. We can resist the tendency to judge or label and just become aware of everything that is happening. Sometimes our awareness on these points or places is all that is required to feel ourselves right at the center, allowing all of it to be swirling around. So with this balance, left and right, front and back, up and down, draw your attention now into the space of your heart. Now imagine, feel, or visualize that you're breathing in and out of your heart space. And as you continue with this breath awareness, begin to bring about a feeling of gratitude. So you might think of someone or something you're grateful for. Perhaps it's the sunshine, perhaps it's your morning cup of coffee, whatever it is. Allow for the feeling of gratitude to permeate your heart center and extend out to your whole body and your energy fields. And here in this field of gratitude, you're already shifting. You're shifting energetically, it's scientifically proven that you're shifting the energies and even chemicals released in your body. And now into this space of gratitude, begin to invite your intention for your practice today. Whether that's something that is your daily action item towards your goal, or if there is a quality that you're working on expanding in yourself and your life, that you're dedicating this practice to today. And as you feel your intention, also feel it being wrapped in this energy of gratitude. Anytime throughout the practice, return to your intention, and perhaps throughout your day, bringing your awareness back to gratitude and to that one-pointed focus of where you are directing your energy. Let's invite a deep inhale all the way in. Full exhale all the way out. As you are ready, gently release your hands, slowly open your eyes and lift your gaze. We will begin with a light Kapalabhati. With the Kapalabhati breathing, You can sit cross-legged or with your hips a little elevated. I like to sit in the Vajrasana or hero's pose, the kneeling position. For me, this allows for less rocking of the body with the breathing. And also, it can be done in a cross-legged position. So with Kapalabhati, this is a forceful exhalation, and it's thought to be like a skull cleansing and also just the parting of the clouds. I can see clearly now. Sorry. We're going to have a singing day, apparently. So we're focusing on the exhale. Now the exhale is going to force the air up and out. We want to make sure we have a little bit of a root lock so that there's a base, a floor that we're pushing the air up and out of. Otherwise, we might not get as much force up because we're leaking a little bit of energy out and down. So the root lock is similar to as if you're going to stop urinating midstream. So a little bit of that hug in. As we get more used to it or more comfortable with it, it's a little more energetic. It's a little bit more of the cervix lifting. And so for here, we'll just engage a little bit through the root. It's best to keep our eyes closed. This energy of Udana Vayu, this up and out, is what helps us to speak our hearts, to speak our truth. And we also want to make sure we're not over activating the fire of our eyes so that we're all, bugged out. Good. So if you would like, you can place a hand onto your belly, your other hand in chin mudra, thumb and index finger touch, and then that hand can rest on your leg or in your lap. Engaging slightly through the root lock, we'll take a deep breath in, full breath out, and then we'll inhale just halfway in, and then the exhale. Now this can be at a pace that's right for you. Let's go ahead and inhale all the way in. Exhale all the way out. If you need to, roll your shoulders. So a lot like with our yoga practice, this type of breathing will first stir everything up and feel kind of yucky. And then as we do it a couple more times, it clears the clouds and cleans things up. Then we go back to that clear space of our energy body. So with the forceful exhale, I did get a little snot spray. So you might want to, if you're exhaling through the nose, just have a little tissue, or you can do the practice exhaling through your mouth. So again, the hand on the belly is just to draw our attention here so that we can focus on snapping the navel in towards the spine. So my hand's not doing it. My hand is just bringing the energy there. So it's the exhale, 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 and it creates a vacuum effect, which brings in our inhale. All right, so we'll do another round here. Go at a pace that's right for you. So here again, we will engage that root lock just lightly so we have a floor to our vessel. And then inhale. We'll go ahead and exhale that breath out. And then inhaling just halfway to begin. And then we'll exhale the breath all the way out. Go to empty. And then inhale all the way in. This time at the top of that inhale, hold the breath for a second or two. Maybe tuck your chin slightly so you're closing this container of the body, holding that breath. And then you'll lift the chin so you can exhale easily all the way out. At the end of your exhale, you might also relax your pelvic floor, that root lock. Just taking a few full breaths here and notice. Sometimes we get a little tingly. Sometimes we just get the crabbies because we've stirred everything up that's been slumbering. There's many different things that you might be experiencing. Our job is to be the witness and to maintain our sense of self that is beyond the storms that are brewing. Good. So let's take one more round here. Deep inhale all the way in. Full exhale all the way out. And then inhale halfway to begin. Let's exhale the breath all the way out. When you're ready, inhale, fill all the way in. Pause for a moment at the top of that breath. Chin lock, root lock. You're a beautiful vase and vessel holding that clean, clear breath. When you feel ready, you'll lift the chin slightly to release the throat lock. Exhale the breath all the way out. At the end of your exhale, relax your root lock. Take a few moments, just breathe in here. And then we're going to come into our rebound posture, which we do in yin and in pranayama, which is to come into shavasana. So take your time, slowly, moving even slower than you think is slow, to come down onto your back. And as you stretch out onto your back, just go right into shavasana. Now we might have that tendency, we want to wiggle and shake and stretch. We'll do that after. So just recline back into your shavasana pose. Extend your legs out long, your arms by your sides. Full breath in, full breath out. Pause, breathe, and feel. So working with these pranayama practices brings that attention back to our true self, to our witness consciousness, so that we're able to be with what is, allowing those storms to pass without getting overly involved. Same as in our meditation practice, where we are witnessing the thoughts, letting them flow through. And it also gives us that greater strength and rootedness into our own center. And so then when we're in our own center, we're comfortable to speak our truth. We're comfortable to express our desires, our needs, our feelings. So today's reading from the Book of Awakening. And while you're here in Shavasana, focus on the breath. So focusing your breath in your nostrils. Your legs could be bent or straight, whatever works best for your low back. Responsibility. A quote by William Blake. I feel angry toward my friend. I told my wrath did end. I felt angry toward my foe. I told him not. My wrath did grow. William Blake. True inner responsibility centers on our willingness to give voice to whatever is happening to us in the midst of relationship. This is important both for you and the person you are relating to. If you are not present, there is nothing to respond to. And love only becomes real in the world through our ability to respond. Bringing who you are to a relationship, being your true self, gives others the opportunity to transcend their limitations by acting on their love. It gives the other person a chance to show up. If you remain voiceless, then I can unconsciously keep living out whatever inequity or imbalance I'm involved in with you. But once you show your hurt or frustration or confusion or question, then I have a chance to stop my unconscious participation in the pattern of our relationship. The key to whether I will respond to you or not often has to do with the love. Do with love, the one thing that can break the inertia of old behavior. We can be driving along the endless summer highway, locked in some pattern that has become suffocating to you. But until you are moved by some sudden wind that shows the willow trunk as we speed by, until you are moved to say, I can't go on like this. I can't have the chance to say, I don't want to be like this either. Until you break your silence, I can't have the chance to say, what can we do to change all this? Often we spend so much time waiting for the other to catch on and see our pain, getting more and more frustrated and wounded the longer they don't. But this is the definition of a limitation, not being able to see what is obvious. So while we dread voicing our fears and hurts to one another, love has no way of being acted on without something truthful to respond to. Breathe fully, and in the safety of this space, if something has surfaced, just let it surface freely in your mind and in your heart. And keep breathing deeply, and just get comfortable with the truth of this feeling. And this is enough for today. Trust that you will know if and when and how to voice this truth to the person in your life who needs the chance to hear it. Let's invite a deep inhale all the way in. Full exhale all the way out. Begin to move your fingers and your toes. Start to stretch your arms and your legs. Finding a full body stretch, reach your arms overhead. Circling your wrist and your ankles. Moving your fingers and your toes. Good. When you're ready, gather both of your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze, a hug right here. In Yin, this is called cradle pose. As you're cradling your body, begin to rock from side to side, massaging your back, tending to yourself, to your beautiful vessel, this home for your lifetime. As you're rocking a few more times here, you might turn your head in the opposite direction from your knees. Adding a little bit of more awareness through the center of your body, through your spine. When you feel that there's a nice new circulation flowing through your back body, back at center, on your next exhale, lift your head and shoulders towards your knees. As you round into a little ball, exhale to empty. And then as you're inhaling, rest your head and shoulders back down onto the earth. Now, if that was okay for your neck, do this 2 more times, slowly, slowly. On your exhalation, you're curling in, rounding in. And as you inhale, you're just resting your head back down. And then maybe 1 more time with your own breath. Hugging, curling in, exhale, stretching the back, squeezing the belly. And then as you're inhaling, your head and shoulders relax back. This time, go ahead and rest your feet back down onto the mat. Keeping your knees bent, shift your feet a little wider, interlace your hands under your head, let your elbows drop wide on the mat. With your feet as wide as your yoga mat, your knees are bent. Begin to slowly windshield wiper your knees left and right. Now, as you're moving in this way, if the arm position isn't comfortable for your fingers or your shoulders, feel free to release your arms into a cactus or into a T with the arms straight out at shoulder height. See about palms turning up if you're choosing that T position for your arms. If you have your arms in that cactus, the palms would be facing up as well. Now, as you're moving from side to side, abiding in your witness consciousness, notice which sensations are most present for you. When our feet are wide apart on the mat and you're traveling just your knees side to side, you may notice a bit more sensation in the top of the thigh and the hip creases. There could also be an awareness of rocking of your pelvis ever so slightly. So you can also notice that there's a slight massage on the back, on the low back, on the back of the hips, and the back of the pelvis. Let's leave both of our knees over to one side. With both of your knees off to one side, letting them stay there for a few full rounds of breath. Now, if it feels safe, if it feels like things are fairly open for you at this point in your practice, if your knees are over to the right, for example, you could experiment with lifting the right foot and placing it on top of your left knee. Now, for some of this is terribly painful. This is not fun at all. For others, that weight of that foot helps to drop the legs deeper into this side stretch. So feel into what is true for you in your body. So if our legs are to the right, that right foot lifts, and the weight of that foot is pulling the left leg closer to the floor. Good. Couple more full breaths. And then if you did choose to put your foot on top of the leg, to add to your stretch, release your foot first, and then inhale your knees to center. Taking your legs to your second side, for example, if your legs are now traveling over to the left, maybe we stay here and the weight of our legs is enough. Maybe it is available or interesting to put the left foot on the top of that right thigh. Now for me, the first side felt okay. This side is a little cringy. So honoring what allows me to stay present and in my witness consciousness, making sure that I'm not jeopardizing my knees, nor am I pulling the hip flexor too far. So choose what's right for you based on how you notice your breathing, what signals your body is sending to you. Good. And if there's any other areas, so even with saying this side is cringy, I've kept my foot there and my jaw is now very tight. It is not loving this, so I'm going to release that foot back down. Oh, now I can breathe again and my jaw is relaxed. So we learn the signals of our body and we develop that relationship with our body to say, okay, I'm really going to stop ignoring you. I promise. All right, so if you did choose to put your foot onto that knee, release it down, and then inhale, knees back to center, and exhale. Full body stretch here. Stretch those legs out long again. Reach your arms overhead. Reach and lengthen. Good. And from here, we're transitioning to a child's pose. So however that looks for you, you might choose to roll to one side and then press up, coming to table, and then shifting your hips back towards your heels. In your child's pose, knees could be together or slightly apart. Choose the position that's right for you today. You could rest your head onto your forearms, or maybe resting your head onto the earth. Now we'll be here for about a minute and a half, so make sure that you feel comfortable. Make sure your breath is still steady and smooth. Tuning into all of the sensations that are presenting. In my body today, I feel child's pose more in the mid back. It's not a usual place for me to feel it, so just being with wherever your sensations are presenting today. Maybe it's in your knees or your hips or thighs. Maybe it's in your shoulders if you have your arms extended out. Stay focused on your breath. This posture gives us that inward focus. So much of our life, our attention is directed to what we're taking in through our senses around us. And we know, and we've experienced in our own practice or in our meditations, that connecting to our own center lands us in a space of peace and knowing more than anything else. Counting 5 more rounds of breath here. Making sure not to speed up your breath or rush yourself. When your 5 rounds of breath are complete, bring yourself up to hands and knees in your tabletop position. And from our table, we're coming into what is known as dangling pose in our yin yoga practice. So dangling pose is a standing forward fold. If you would like, you could find your way there from a downward facing dog. As you shift into downward dog, you can walk your hands back to your feet. And then in dangling pose, you can have a generous bend of your knees, and you might even take a hold of opposite elbows. If it works better for you for your stability to have hands on the floor, by all means. And not forcing our body, your legs can be as bent or as straight as you feel ready for today. We'll be here for about 10 rounds of breath, so slow and steady. As you feel ready, coming back to table, slowly walking your hands forward, lower your knees to the mat. Either neutralizing in table, or if you would like to move through cat and cow, inhale, lifting your tail, lifting your chin. And then exhale, arching your spine. When you feel integrated, we'll come around onto our seat. Our next pose is a shoelace pose. So as you come onto your seat, we'll have legs extended out in front. Now this is where you might want to have some props. We'll take the right leg and bring our foot back by our left hip. So we're crossing over like a shoelace. Maybe like in kindergarten when you make the two ears and you tie it. Okay. So left leg's extended out in front. Right leg is up and over top of the left. Now already there's a lot going on. Maybe you're feeling it in your knee or in your hips. So it might be that we stay in an upright posture here. Maybe there is some room to lean forward slightly into our hands. Now, you may have felt that fire up in your outer right hip, maybe along the back of that right thigh. If you're feeling it more in your knee, maybe staying upright until your hip opens up a little bit more, allowing this to be more easeful for your knees. Now, if you are leaning forward, maybe there's space that it would be interesting to bring in some yoga props. Wow. I wore black for Saturn today, and my yoga props are going to blend right in. So I'll put the block on my shin and experiment with folding forward, resting my head onto the yoga block. Now, if that's not available, you could do something like we do in our other forward fold yin postures of putting a bolster and then leaning our head onto the bolster. So just some options. Again, we're in our yoga pose where we're present with ourselves and breathing. So there's no level of accomplishment of if we fold forward or not. It's just a matter of how we're tending to ourselves in the present moment. Now here, when we're working hips, I can again feel my jaw get activated. So scan through your body. See if you could relax your jaw, soften your forehead, relax your tongue. We'll stay for about 10 more rounds of breath. So when we work in these yin postures, they work our connective tissue. So we're in them for a duration that allows for that deep release. And then very, very slowly being super gentle and tender with yourself as you come to upright. You can lean way back in your hands so there's some freedom for your legs and unwinding out through that right leg. You might shake out your legs, rotating them in and out, releasing all the way up to your hips. And then we'll do just a short rebound, so coming onto your back, extending out through your legs, Breathe in here before the second side. Fragility. Humans seem fragile at times, like the shell of a bird about to hatch, as if we could break when someone taps on us just one more time. We can feel this in times of sickness or heartache. We can feel it when someone lets us down, when we have an accident or life strikes at us. When a butterfly emerges from its breaking prison, it is reborn stronger and given a new life. When a chicken emerges from its shell, it is anti-fragile, having gained strength from the moments of trial. These feelings of fragility are normal and human, and a chance to watch yourself be reborn. Embrace them. So having taken this pause, this rebound, noticing the energy, we'll slowly make our way back. You can roll to one side, press yourself up, extend your legs out in front again, and this time bringing the left foot outside of the right hip. So stacking our left leg on top of the right. Oh baby, this whole hip has a different thing going on than the first side. So for me, this pose might be staying upright on this side. Maybe there's some room to lean forward and experiment if that's the outside of my comfort zone that I want to practice today. If it feels like it's challenging and yet still safe for my knee, then I'll breathe there for a while. If it's giving me anxiety, then I might back out. So choose the position that's right for you. And then do a full body scan. So relax your shoulders, soften your jaw, your tongue, your forehead. And then stay steady with your practice of focusing on your breath. You might even send your breath into those areas that are really lit up for you. And then in yin, we're just patient. We're just there with ourselves. Breathing, witnessing, being present. Now, in your own self, if you feel like something is just starting to open, if you can feel the fascia just opening and you'd like to stay longer, by all means. If you're that baby bird, just opening through your shell. And then whenever you do feel ready, slowly, slowly come to upright. Lean back a bit so you have some freedom to move that knee, opening out through the left leg. Again, you can rotate legs in and out. And this time as you come down on your back for your rebound, have a yoga block close by. So right away in your rebound pose, you might notice, ooh, I really want to wiggle. Oh my gosh, I can feel this sensation. Just practice staying in stillness. It's lay your body down, plop. This is as good as it gets. I might adjust another day, but today I'm just gonna let the props be where they are. I'm gonna let my clothes be where they are. Resting here in stillness, we're observing the effects of this shoelace. Again, this inward look that we started in our child's pose. In yin, when we stress the dense connective tissues, the physical sensations in the aftermath become apparent quite quickly. So we might have those feelings of tenderness. And then they begin to subside. The sensations subside. We feel the connective tissue has released and our energy is flowing more freely through those areas of the body that could have been a little bit more tight or congested. So as chi flows through those pathways, we can feel we have received our rebound. So if you'd like a little yang movement, a little stretch, you might take arms overhead again, just getting the blood flowing through those areas of connective tissue that had gotten a little sticky. And then we will move into, in yin, it's called a pontoon. In our yang, what we've typically called it is a supported bridge. So with your yoga block, you're going to be placing it under your hips. Now, I think I have to move my fuzzy, my little warmth. So on your back with knees bent, lifting your hips, and let's start with the low height on the block. Lift your hips, sliding the block under the back of your pelvis, and then resting for a moment here to see if it's in the right place, that there's no pain in your back. So I know I'm blending here, but the block is under here. Yes. To find my pink yoga mat. I think it's in the car. Now here, supported bridge is one we're familiar with. Today I'm feeling a lot of really nice opening and alignment in my neck and shoulders. Could be from carrying my carry-on through the airport, that my shoulders are finally aligning back where they prefer to be. And you could stay here, or you could experiment with straightening your legs along the floor. So if you reach one leg and then the other, you'll notice this is a big stretch for the front of the hips and thighs. If this creates any pain in your low back, then maybe experiment with doing only one at a time and see if that works okay for you. If it doesn't work at all for you, then you can stay in the supported bridge pose. And if you are extending one at a time, We'll stay on this side. If you're doing one leg, go ahead and count 10 rounds of breath. And then after you've reached your 10 rounds, you'll slowly bend that leg and extend the other and count 10 rounds of breath on that side. So this pontoon, whether you're doing one or both legs, is a very tender and fragile place again. So it begins to work into the psoas, which helps us to lift our legs when we're walking. This is also the only muscle that connects through the top and lower, the upper and lower parts of the body. It is our fight or flight muscle. So we're here with all of the energy that's been stored up through our lifetime that hasn't been released yet. So we're being very gentle and kind and tender with ourselves, recognizing that we do have those moments of feeling like fragile humans. And we strengthen and resource ourselves by these type of practices and taking the time to be with ourselves, to release past impressions, and to strengthen our faith and our ability to respond. So if you're doing the single leg, whenever you get to 10, you'll just switch sides. And when you feel ready, when you're balanced, slowly bring your feet back to the mat. Now we've been on the block for a while, so you might engage your glutes as a way to stabilize your pelvis. So squeeze your glutes, lift your hips, move the block out of the way, and then lowering all the way back down. Once you land, invite a deep inhale in, and then a cleansing exhale. Very mindfully, tenderly, we'll bring one knee and then the other in, and then squeezing the knees into your chest as you exhale. And then straightening the arms, pressing your knees away from your belly as you inhale. So your legs are very relaxed here. You're just using the power of your arms. Exhale to hug in, flatten your back. And then inhale, lots of space. Let's do that 3 more times. Notice if your legs are trying to help, and just let your legs and hip flexors relax. Your arms and biceps have got it covered. Good. And now we'll massage where we were resting on the block. So take both knees around in a few clockwise circles. And then change the direction of those circles, massaging your low back. And then we'll take the knees in opposite directions. So you're going to spread the knees apart, circle them out wide around in a big circle, and then gather them back in together. Circle them out to the right and left, and then gather them back in. Good. 2 more times like this. Moving that full circumference of your hip socket. And change the direction of those hip circles. And then we'll come back to cradle pose. Cradle is holding your knees into your chest. In this position, you're inviting the spine to flatten and lengthen out along the floor. So relaxing your shoulders as much as possible, relaxing your sacrum as much as possible. If when you're hugging your knees in, you're rounding the tailbone in a bit, see about hugging them a little less so that the back of your pelvis feels nice and grounded. Good. Long spine here. Let's take 5 more breaths in cradle. Good. When you're ready, release your feet. We'll take our windshield wiper action again here. So moving your props out of the way, step your feet wide on your mat, and then windshield wiper your legs left and right. You could have your hands by your sides, or out into a T or a cactus, or hands under your head. Another option might be to reach your arms overhead along the mat to get an added stretch along the side body while you activate this hint of a twist. When you feel complete, come back to center, a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly. Deep inhale. And a letting go exhale. Now here you may notice that movement of prana through your whole body. So having released your connective tissues, releasing any areas of tightness or congestion, life force energy, circulation is able to spread and move evenly through the body. Now, if you would like to finish your practice in Shavasana, by all means, you'll stretch your body out just as we did in our rebound poses. If you would like to take some time in legs up the wall or legs up the couch as your closing posture, you might find that here. If you're taking the rebound in Shavasana or the Shavasana in rebound, if you have your bolster or pillow close by, you might slide it under your knees to support your back. As you're shifting into your pose of integration here at the end of our practice, be sure to add any layers that you may have taken off. You might bring in a little blanket to cover your body as our temperature might drop while we're resting in stillness. When a butterfly emerges from its breaking prison, it is reborn stronger and given a new life. These feelings of fragility are normal and human, and they are also a chance to watch ourselves be reborn. So as you're settling into Shavasana, thanking yourself for this time of self-study, of observing, learning about ourselves, releasing any habits or patterns. We know that we can be reborn in each present moment, bringing ourselves back to the present moment, landing centered in our truth and ourself. So with that feeling of gratitude, invite a deep inhale all the way in. Nice letting go, exhale all the way out. Take a moment to witness your body resting in stillness, honoring the power of rest, recognizing it to be a most important ritual, a way of fortifying ourselves, a way of returning home to ourselves. Your whole body relaxed, resting here. Bring your awareness to the gentle movement of your breath. The sweet, soft, gentle, relaxed inhale. And that supportive and connecting exhale. We'll close our practice right here. Perhaps sliding a hand to your heart and a hand to your belly. Honoring this vessel that is housing your life force energy. And thanking yourself for taking this time to keep your body and your mind harmonious, balanced, and equalized, allowing for that full expression of your spirit. Having cleared the cobwebs, cleared the clouds, may you recognize that light within you shining so brightly. And may you carry that light in the twinkle of your eyes as you move off of your mat and into your day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for your practice. Thank you for your light. Shine on. Peace be with you. And namaste.